Yeah, let me know on the fan if it's
Ba
too
ba
much.
ba 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 ba.
Warm up here in Maine today. It was warm
All
down
right,
here in
call the
Ohio.
meeting to order.
What?
Call the meeting to order.
Hey! Order! Order! Call this meeting to order.
Or call back to
Or disorder.
Daniel Baca. Call the meeting to order.
Daniel, thanks for getting the chairs out for tonight's meeting.
Yeah,
All the folding chairs.
quite appreciated.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Bar Run Forge. It is Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you're here with Troy and Eli. As we've talked about, it is indeed a kind of a chat stream.
Chat stream.
So let's say hello to everybody. Mr. Baca.
Chat stream.
Chat stream. Daniel Baca, D. Baca Maker. Kyle Jones.
It's a temp star. Chat stream.
Chat stream.
Quality you can feel.
Dana Maggiore, D.E. Mag, Kyle Jones, Justin Ray. Hey, Justin, we just said we haven't heard from you in a while, so it's good to hear from you. Mr. Scheidel himself, Jared E. Scheidel, Frank Strock. Good to have you in here. I think Eric from Pumpkin Patch is here.
Did you bring back the...
And Mr. Corey Shire. I did not.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm a horrible human being.
It's all right. We'll have to...
We got it, buddy. I was just getting ready to send you a message here. We got that this afternoon, so thank you. We'll show that off on our next go-around.
Yeah.
For sure. That was
maybe
super
even have it
cool.
In use.
Yeah, it will be in use, too.
No, I mean for the next stream.
Yeah.
Spiderweb.
Dang, you are a wonderful sight. Oh, my goodness.
You said wonderful in all caps. Is that sarcastic?
It could be. Bill needs a new eye doctor's appointment. Hello, Bill Corey, Mr. BC65925. Good to be in there. And Mr. Corey Shire. I think I said hello to Corey. If not, hello, Corey. And Bill Wheel. So it's good to have everybody in here. As we said, this is going to be a chat stream.
Chat stream.
Today has a number of things playing a factor on that. For one thing, it has been ridiculously humid.
Like a toaster oven.
Yeah, like a sauna.
Like what they cook, the little bamboo things they cook gyoza in.
There you go.
Pot stickers. They're just like steamy baskets.
I do feel like a pot sticker.
Like a pot sticker.
Better than a pot stirrer, I guess.
Pot sticker.
Mr. Jeff Killian is in here as well. Good to see Jeff.
Pot stickers.
but anyway, maybe we can be a little bit more goofy tonight without concentrating on that. But anyway, it has been just absolutely ridiculously humid and nasty.
Sticky.
I mean, if you walk outside, you're sweating. No matter what you're doing,
air.
You just you can reach out and grab a hold of it. And
I walked out the other day to help Dad and Tracy unhook the camper. I just got out of the shower. I opened up the door and I was like, "Dang it, I need to shower again."
Yeah. Yeah. By the time he came out and helped us, I looked and there was already
I was just
wet.
glistening.
Yep.
Got a bell ring request if you don't mind.
Okay. Bell ring for Thomas Powers, talented smith, and all-around good person. We'll definitely do that. We'll do that right now for Thomas Powers.
Passed away from brain cancer 2 weeks ago.
Okay. We hate to hear that for sure. And we know Mr. Strock, Mr. Frank Strock, our good buddy. Everybody keep praying for Frank. He's here with us on the chat tonight, and he is battling a brain cancer as well. So we're praying for him. And Rebecca Touched by Yarn. Hey, everyone, please let me bless you with my yarn. There you go. Throw Mama from the train. It was sultry. Yes. What a movie. What was the guy's name? Owen?
That's beyond me, bub.
Owen? I can't remember. Anyway. She kept yelling his name out.
Tell us more, grandfather.
Oh, shut up. All right. So anyway, that's number one. Definitely, it has been nasty.
It's been toasty.
And sultry.
Rainy
for sure.
And hot, which makes it humid. And then it would rain again, and then get more hot and more humid.
And thanks to our Canadian brethren
Yeah.
We've had that haze, and we cut hay and had no rain all week on hay, and it would not cure. We had an entire week. It was hot enough. The sun was shining. Breeze was blowing. Just it would not get through and cure the hay, so we basically lost a field of hay.
Yeah.
We salvaged the field, but we lost the actual hay in it. So, that kind of stunk. We've been fighting off and on weather to try to get the wheat done. And then there's straw out there that needs baled so we can get in and plant the double crop soybeans. And about 2/3 of the straw is baled.
Yeah.
But we've got to get the rest of it done. And we've got rain showers, which make it where you have to flip it over and then get sun to dry it out so you can bale it. So it's been...
Farming is fun.
Yeah, it's legalized gambling and
You're controlled on how much you earn.
professional insanity,
Yeah.
I guess, is what you call it. So, but we just can't get enough of it. And we have been very, very busy with that. So that's factor number 2. In that process, I've had some health issues. Part of the reason why I haven't been in here on some Thursday nights. Part of the other reason has been out battling through and doing some of the farm stuff is I have pancreatitis. And we don't know yet if it's a chronic thing or there's more than that. But the pancreatitis has basically left me with no energy. Just constantly, no matter, you guys know, I've always got drink with me, and I'm constantly feeling dehydrated and worn out, and it just really makes it very hard to get anything done. I literally haven't been in the shop to forge since the last stream that I was here forging, so I've not been able to.
After camp, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And then
just the one stream.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge. We haven't really had any time here in the shop, and even if we had, I hadn't felt like it. So it's been really.
I should have queued up the Weird Al Pancreas.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
had something like
yeah. If you guys are Weird Al fans, that song, I love my pancreas. I have cursed that song and yet sung it in my head a great deal. Me and my duodenum are not getting along.
Would you say
well.
you made a parody of that song?
Gee, I hate my pancreas. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could definitely do that right now.
You can make a parody of a guy who makes parodies.
There you go. The dude playing the dude disguised
it's like
as another
Pancreas
dude.
Inception.
So, with the Owen. Yes. Get me a cookie. Yep, that's it right there. So, I knew Bill Corey would have it. So anyway, those 3 factors have played a huge deal as to why. Huh?
There were 3.
Yeah. Weather, farming, and health.
Oh, yeah. I was like, no, we're farming. I'm sorry.
So I said to Eli tonight, I said, we got 3 options. Option number 1 is I co-host and you Smith, which meant he'd had to go back to the house, get all geared up, and come back out here and Smith in the sultriness.
Sultriness.
Yep. Or we sit and chat like we're doing right now, or we call it for tonight. And
I'll let you guess what option we picked.
We picked. yes. If you haven't figured that out yet, which option out of the 3 we picked, we need to have a chat.
Hey, what a coincidence!
And we're sitting here
having that chat.
We're having that chat right now. So anywho, that's kind of the deal. What's going on? I'm not. This is not a boohoo moment. Just keep us in your prayers. Eli, bless his heart, he'll go to work, come home, say, "What do you got for me tonight?" And there's bales.
I was loading bales in my polo and khaki shorts yesterday.
Yeah, and there's bales left out in the field right now that need to get out of the field. And then we need to hook up the drill and load the drill and get other equipment out of the way and stuff like that. And so I just feel bad for him because he's not able to get all done and come home from work and just come home. At the same time, I can't get it all done because I run out.
He got no enzyme production right now.
Yeah, it's an enzyme issue is what it comes down to.
You got swollen enzyme production. Listen, if on the Weird Al Pancreas thing, you can knock that song. You might think it's goofy, but literally when I was taking my test on the endocrine system in college, that song helped me out. So
And
Weird
and
Al
if you
helped me
don't
pass college.
and if you don't know what pancreatitis is, you may get a good idea. Anything that says itis afterwards is an inflammation of the thing. So go listen to Weird Al's "I Love My Pancreas" song, and then understand that mine is now.
Schwold.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's irritated. It's agitated. And
Somebody aggravated my pancreas.
Somebody done agitated my pancreas. Yes, I've been eating yogurt. Chaz Walker. Hello, hello,
Hey,
hello.
Chaz.
Good to see you in here. So yeah, I have been doing really, really good. I've eaten the sweet potatoes, the salmon, the yogurt, the fruits and the vegetables, exactly what I'm supposed to be eating. None of the leafy greens. All those, trying to avoid the fiber. Just I've done really, really good at that kind of thing. And I'm trying to.
The man loves his pork, and his entire family had really, really good smoked pulled pork in front of his face, and he powered through a piece of salmon. So
Eli did a fantastic job of smoking a piece of salmon for me. There's Mr. Thomas Goody Moot, the goodiest of all the moots.
Question: would you like to do a blacksmith challenge with me and possum sausage? I'm probably down for it.
Yeah, we
would. A free moment.
That's right. Get in touch with us. We've actually got a challenge that we haven't gotten able to approach between the two of us.
That's true. They're sitting right over there for
maybe
6 months.
Maybe that's what we do with the challenge.
What's that?
With Thomas and
well, it sounds like he's got a challenge.
Oh, he's already got a challenge. Okay. Well, let us know, man. Thanks, Thomas. I really appreciate that, and I appreciate everybody. It's been a really amazing thing. The 50th birthday thing. Everybody with the great messages and sending. But when people start sending the prayer concerns and calling and texting and calling the family and texting the family and how's he getting along, it really means a lot, and it speaks to the great friendship that many of us, some of which have never even met, really have, and that's part of the reason why we love this community. Yes, I did see that, and I was
cool this year.
Jacked over that.
Yeah.
Of all the things, I have to say, and I know this might sound weird, of all the things at Quad State that I've seen and experienced, other than being around Bill Corey, other than that, the most excited I have been is to see Mark Asprey's name on the presenters at Quad State this year. I love his approach to it. I love his style. I'm really excited for that. That's the one I'm definitely looking forward to. I will not miss out on that demo. That is definitely going to be the case. So I'm excited for that. But it really has meant a whole lot. Say hello to Hank, Henry Leslie Vermont, and thank you very, very much. 6:30 Friday, and we will be there. No doubt about it.
I'm taking a little
enough time to make sure you're there, right? Yeah. Mark on his stuff on video alone, and it's just phenomenal, man. So again, thank you. We'll get off of the whole sick and excuses and stuff like that.
He doesn't do well with the sick.
Huh?
I said you don't do well with the sick.
I don't. I do not. It is not
had
something.
To fight him twice now.
That's actually true.
Listen. So at church on Sunday, he had to end up leaving before the service started, and I got to turn myself down on my headphone because I was like catching myself talking to myself. Had to leave before church on Sunday, and at the end of church service, we always go through our prayer requests, and they go through and they're like, well, Michelle's got her neck problems. Obviously, keep Troy in prayers with what's going on with him, and Mama, having some issues with heat exhaustion and some other things going on. And everybody was like, Eli, how are you doing? I said, pray for me. This is raising parents and grandparents and taking care of them is hard.
It's hard work, man. Bringing my pancreas in a bag. Yes. Very true. If I have to, that's what will happen. Yeah, and Eli, again, like I say, I pray for him every day, but especially over the last couple of weeks. Number one, because of the work work thing and trying to help out, and he's taking extra time, work from home, things like that. But I know every day he's thinking, how far is Dad going to push it today?
Yeah.
How much do I have to chastise him and make sure he doesn't
Had
do
to, like, peel him off of the seat of a tractor. Or
Right.
Pick him up out of a field with.
I don't do well with it. I don't do well with not being able to get up and do the things that I know I need to do. And when you guys know this, you guys know that when you have, things on your mind, there's a list of things. Okay, I got to get this done because and I always have a time frame in my head. Like if I don't get this thing done before this point, then that puts this thing way behind, and now I have to make up for that, or that thing is ruined. And I know we have to get the double crop beans out before a certain time, but we don't get double crop beans.
Right.
We don't get those beans, and so I have to get A, B, and C done before I can get D, E, and F done to get the double crop beans out. And so I push hard, sometimes harder than I should, to get A, B, and C done in order to meet that time.
Well, and it's not like we, as farmers, it's not like we have the opportunity to kind of take things as they come. You kind of have to, but at the same time, we've got a 5-year plan. We've already got how we rotate each of our fields ready to go. We've got, okay, it's going to take this to move this. When we move this into this, we plant this. Ends up, you plant wheat so you can do double crop. Next year, this field becomes corn. This field becomes wheat. Then you have that rotation. So you have to constantly be thinking, okay, how did I have this set up into, 2028?
Right.
To basically make sure that we're still doing the right things and timing for this week.
Right. Yeah. This week affects 2028.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Stuff
that we did 3 years ago is affecting us now.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Bobby, Robert Lonis, the Treadle Shed.
Gary Graham and Abigail Roush.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Gary. I didn't see Abigail.
She's sneaky.
She's sneaky. Yeah, sneaky snake. So, anywho, that's what's going on. That's what's been going on. And, I go next week to the doctor to get them to kind of decide what to do and what the approach is going to be moving forward. And hopefully, it's an acute case and it just happened and we can get by it and figure it out, move on, get back to being the idiot that I am.
A new hydraulic pump.
There you go. That could be it.
I guess if you thought of a pancreas, I'm trying to think of how you would equate that to a truck or a tractor or something.
Yeah, hydraulic pump might be right. Pump. I mean, if the heart is the injector pump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. If the heart is the injector pump, then the pancreas is probably
like a hydraulic
pump.
Yeah.
Or the other way around. I don't know. Good question. Is the heart the injector? Question of the day: is the heart the injector pump or the hydraulic pump, and is the pancreas the injector pump or the hydraulic pump?
Yeah.
There you go.
There's nothing on the engine though that really creates, because like the pancreas, creates the enzymes and sends the enzymes out. So it's kind of hard. It's like there's nothing really creating. I mean, you create emissions, but that would be more of your digestive system.
Of course, an injector that takes the air and the fuel mixture and creates
But the blood and
atomized.
The blood and air is kind of that. That's pretty nailed it on the head.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Wait, get Bobby, get Cheryl in here.
Jeff Killian says not even cough syrup allowed.
Ooh, dang.
Wow.
We need Cheryl in here.
Yeah. What's Cheryl say about all this?
Equate body parts to car parts.
There you go. So anyway, but we're here in the shop. We do have some really, once we get kind of past this right here, and this section of things that's going kind of crazy, and everything's going to be okay. It just has to we have to get past certain things. Got some really cool stuff. there is something right outside that door.
It's been out there for 3 months.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's been sitting out there, and we hate having stuff sit outside. There's a really cool tool sitting right outside that door that is literally going to change this shop. I think.
Heavy.
I think it will change. It is a heavy piece that will change this shop. And then there's all kinds of stuff on the board that we just, again, we've talked about this before, guys. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. We've talked about this before. When it comes to things around here, the farm and church and family far overrides, I guess you should say, the channel. We love doing the channel.
Yeah.
I absolutely love doing the channel. I love doing the videos. I love interacting with you guys and all that kind of fun stuff. But it does not. It absolutely does not override the farm and the family and the church stuff. It just can't.
There she is.
There she is. We asked for her and we got her. Cheryl Lonis herself. I am doing better, and I hopefully just keep on doing better. So now you got to tell me how in the world I get over this whole pancreatitis garbage, because I'm not a fan. I'll just tell you right now, and I'll be the first guy to admit. I'm going to admit this on live YouTube-ness.
I need a dump button. Where's the dump
button? I literally have never groaned in pain in my entire life. Never. I have never cried from pain. I have never groaned or moaned from pain. Sunday morning, I was groaning.
Yeah,
I was groaning. We live about an hour from Cincinnati, and the church is about 12 miles or so away from kind of the local hospital, Clinton Memorial. And Michelle wanted to take me to UC, to the ER there. And I told her, I said, I can't wait that long. I've got to have something done right now. And by the time we got there, when they asked about the pain scale, and my pain scale is probably different than most, and most farmers and blacksmiths and stuff.
And the red beard.
And the red beard. That does have it. It does play a factor.
No, it literally does.
Literally does play a factor.
Is also equated to higher pain tolerance.
It does, absolutely. And when they start asking about the pain scale, and most times you almost have to make it up. Like, okay, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
And they won't give me anything unless I say this number.
Right.
Okay.
If being shot 9 times is a 10. I'm at like a 2, but if I want to get this taken care of, I'm at a 6.
I have to say 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Because they will ask you sometimes. They're like, "Oh, you're at a 6? You sure it's not somewhere in the realm of a 7?"
Yeah.
Like, "No, it's a 6. Are you sure? Are you sure it's not a 7?" They're like, "Oh, yeah, it's a 7. It's not.
12.
It's not, but it is." Well, I should be. You're probably right on that, Bobby. Second fiddle, your family. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Sorry, Bill. But you're a close second fiddle, buddy.
That's close. That's true.
And every band needs a second fiddle.
Band needs second fiddle.
That's right. One day at a time. Farmstead says, "I love that you share your craft, but more importantly, Jesus Christ and Lord our Savior." Thank you. God bless you. Yours always. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That is definitely the case. Like childbirth pain. Yeah, some people talk about that, and in reference to the pain scale, and they say childbirth is in that realm, and that and kidney stones and stuff like that. And we were in the ER, and I said, they asked me about my pain, and I said, I'm not about to say 10, because 10 is supposed to be the most pain you could possibly stand.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm in a lot of pain right now, so I said 9. Yeah, that's one of the things I know they said, Cheryl. So I said 9. And basically I was like, you got to do something for me right now, or we're going to be at 10 real soon. There was no position I could get in. There was nothing to do to relieve it. It was just absolutely crazy. And within 30, 40 minutes, I was at 10. I was at 10. I was literally groaning from the pain. I don't know what 10 is supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I'm glad I never had to
Unless
find
you've
out.
had 10,
Yeah.
you don't know what 10 is. But when you're really, really hurting, you think that's 10.
This is my 10.
This is 10. Now, I'm sure that there is more pain that I could go through, but
Never been bit by a shark.
yeah, I've not had a boulder on my leg or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But they got to me and they got taken care of. So thank you to Clinton Memorial Hospital and the folks there. It was really interesting. I told my wife a little bit. She and the nurse initially did not get along.
What?
Because the nurse was not going as quickly as she thought and not taking things with the same attitude that Michelle would have taken. But when your spouse is in pain, it's hard to deal with that as well. But they got me taken care of. I got to tell you, Dilaudid is a heck of a drug. Heck of a drug. 00 negative. Feeling an 11 a couple of weeks ago. Oof. I don't even like to even think. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that was my 10.
Yeah, I want to find out what 11 is.
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. But anywho, that's been life, and that's how things go. And like I said, I've been really trying to do good. Had a little bit of Chinese food today, and I did rice.
Pot stickers.
I did do a pot sticker. I did a pot sticker, rice. They had some teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
And I drained it really good of all the juice I possibly can. I didn't eat any fried food. And they had some seafood salad. I had some seafood salad that didn't have a massive amount of dressing on it. Of course, it's at Wilmington. They have the hibachi.
Yeah.
So I went through and picked out some vegetables and some seafood. And he did that up pretty good. So, sweet potatoes. My little girl, Abigail Roush, can make a good sweet potato. And I don't like sweet potatoes. And she made up a good sweet potato the other day, and that was fantastic. Yeah, and thank you to everybody, man. It's just been amazing how much you guys have been there to help and talk and pray and the messages and things like that. But I don't want to talk about that the rest of the time. But like I said, I do want to be honest with you guys, tell you why things have been going this way. And I quite honestly, Eli and I have been talking. This may be something that's been going on for some time.
Yeah.
Some of you probably have noticed. If you haven't, like when I'm here in the smithy, I'm really not as energetic as I have been in the past. It's really been do the foraging and concentrate on the foraging and kind of get that done. So there's Mr. Adams.
Yeller my fellers.
Yeller my fellows. I don't even know how to say
it.
It
would be yellow my fellas.
There you go. Yeah. That's life. What's people you're riding high in April, shot down in May, but I know you're going to change June. When I'm back on top in June. There you go. Yep.
What happens in July?
Well, that's in the song.
Oh.
Yeah, he's quoting the song.
I assumed that. I know what happens in July. I don't know the song.
I just don't remember what's in the song.
Ah.
Good to see you too, Roy. And I'm still trying to make plans for you, buddy. No sushi for Troy.
Ooh, yeah.
No.
I went on the skunk thing, the next thing. Or the sushi thing, next thing, skunk. We found hay bears.
We got to bring that up.
Bears.
We got to bring that up. So we were picking up straw bales. Michelle was driving the truck, just guiding the truck more than anything. All she was missing was the blue hair sticking up over the top of the steering wheel. And so she was guiding the truck down the rows. And Eli was tossing the straw bales up on the trailer, and I was stacking them. And as we were coming back and coming out of the field, we looked, and there's these white and black tails running through the field, scurrying through the field. And so when we look up, we got a little closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And if you see, you put it on Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah.
Five skunks.
2 adults and 3 babies.
Yeah. I thought it was the mama and 4 babies. Or was it 2 adults?
There were 6.
Was there 6?
Yeah, because there were 4 babies. We found at the end there were 6 total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
more,
possibly
and more.
so 6.
Yes. 2
6
adults, 4
hay bears.
babies. Yeah.
6 hay bears running
bear
through
family.
the field right at us, and then they started scurrying away from us. But
Dad and I standing in the back part, and we get into the truck, and all of a sudden there's some tails just wagging away.
yeah, we are not raising a hay bear farm.
No.
Yeah, I don't
Apparently
think
we are, though.
It sounds like it.
So we had that.
If there's money in it.
It might be.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then 2 nights afterwards, I'm taking the dogs out at 11, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and all I see is this little, white dot, and both dogs start going crazy, just barking and tails up and hair stuck up on their back, and both of them are just nose pointed at this white blob. And my first thought's okay, it's a possum or something like that. But when it turned, I was like, that's not a possum. It's got a big fluffy tail. It's a cat. But it never got up off the ground. So I was like, well, like a cat prowling or anything. But then it started scurrying away. And I was like, well, a cat doesn't run away like that. There's an albino skunk. We had an albino skunk just walking around the tree line right back towards the gray barn. I was like, we've just got skunks everywhere. So, yeah, we've had a total of 7 skunks around the property in the past 2 weeks.
Bill Wheel says he's got a broken pancreas from when someone tackled him a while back. Hey, there you go.
That's what it is.
There you go.
Get Roy and his YouTube millions to pay your medical bills.
That's right. I'm coming after you and your YouTube millions. Have you got good liable? But yeah, it's been kind of crazy, man. And I'll tell you what, I have not seen. I don't know what's like in you guys' area, but I have not seen the amount of rodents and varmints.
Yeah, I say we've caught so many. We've trapped so many animals.
We trapped 7 raccoons?
9 now. I caught
9.
2 babies the other day.
Yeah.
I've caught 4 or 5 possums, a cat.
Rats.
Yeah, rats the size of your forearm.
And rabbits and squirrels. I've never seen so many rabbits in my entire life.
Need a bazooka for the hay bears.
I'm thinking grape shot.
Yeah.
Like a
RPG.
can with grape shot. There you go. RPG. The shop door is open. Might call him in. No.
Could be.
Fighting off raccoons in your barn. Yeah, no.
We probably had a raccoon who got a hold of a few of our chickens.
Yeah.
So we caught, I think, 3 big ones and then a bunch of babies. The raccoons.
Yeah.
Caught 2 possums yesterday.
Did you really?
Yeah. One, I don't know what happened to the first one because it was already dead when it was in the cage, but then there was another little baby possum.
Yeah, see, we don't kill possums.
Yeah, possums, whatever, man. They'll eat bugs, and they usually don't mess with the chickens.
Yeah, they're beneficial, unless they're tearing stuff up or killing stuff. You don't mess with them.
I was tap dancing on one the other day.
Okay, so Rob says, I have to confess, I've never heard the term hay bear, only polecat.
Polecat.
Okay, so yes, I agree with you. They are often called polecats. Want some turkeys? Got a ton here. Eight ran out in front of me this AM. Yeah, we've got a good pile of turkeys around here too. All right, so the reason why they're called hay bears, and here comes the target hay bear. So we had our gathering 2 years ago, and does it have the target on that side too? Yeah. So we had the gathering 2 years ago, and we had a skunk kind of just annoying us more than anything. It didn't cause any problems.
It ran through the.
It was near us.
It ran through the out here
the
through
tent
the barn, underneath the eating area.
Yeah, and so I mean, it didn't spray anybody. It didn't bother anybody. It was just really close to where we were eating and things like that. And so we had it out there, and I thought, well, okay, what do you do with a skunk if you just want to shoo it off? I didn't want to have to kill it, so you just shoo it off. Well, like if you're out in the woods with black bears and things like that, you get wide, and one of the things they tell you is yell, "Hey bear." Just make noise.
Yeah.
And one of the noises you make, a lot of
Hey,
people,
bear.
hey bear, hey bear, hey bear. And
Hey,
so
bear.
we were doing that. We were just, just being goofy and yelling, hey bear, hey bear, hey bear. Well, the hey bear became the name for the skunk.
Yeah.
The skunk became hey bear.
Hey, bear.
And then, yes, at some point in time, the hay bear ended up out in the field. I got up on the grain bin with the rifle, and I missed it multiple times. I missed it. Just flat out missed. It's okay. I don't mind admitting to it. I missed hay bear several times, so that's been kind of a joke. So my former friends got me this item right here to practice shooting hay bears. So now around here, we just call skunks hay bears because that's just kind of a funny thing. But anyway, hay bear. There you go.
There we go. I don't know why
And there's Kenny from Metal Man, Bobby from Dogbone.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Big
Jumping
shout
in
out.
here. So anyway, yeah, Eli. Okay. That's for you and Thomas.
Forged.
So anyway,
I have to look at it, Thomas.
we're gonna put that.
That's why they're called hay bears.
That's why they're called hay bears. That's why we call them hay bear around here. So funny story there. Got to peace out. Bye, Abigail. Love do.
Oh, so the
And Possum Sausage is in here. I don't know if we said hi to him as well.
So the other day, Dad was you were tilling the garden, right?
Yeah.
So we have a couple of old barn doors that have fallen off that we've got laying out in the yard to harvest off of the sheet metal and everything, and a tarp and a couple other things that just places where animals can be. So I pick up one of the doors and slide it over to the yard out of the way from the garden so Dad could till up the garden. So then I pick up the second one, and it's kind of more falling apart and everything. But when I picked it up, I started scooting it, and I scooted a little baby possum out of it. And I was like, oh, there's a little possum. And I just kind of tried to lift the door up a little bit over it so it'd scurry off or whatever. But I scared it towards me because there's a door in me. So it starts coming at me, and I was trying to move the door and trying to shake it off and everything like that. This thing ends up running right over top of, I was wearing my Crocs. It just runs right over top of my Crocs and is looking up and hissing at me and then walking towards me again and ran away and came back towards me. So I was literally just tap dancing around this possum, and then finally I set the door down and it scurried back under the door.
Right back underneath there.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
And I was watching the whole thing just that's crazy.
Yeah, cackling while he's just tilling up the garden, watching me dancing with a possum over there.
Kenny. So I haven't jumped in years. Oh goodness. So yeah, it's been entertaining and interesting.
Yeah,
definitely interesting around here of late. But so anywho, leave it. If you guys saw the YouTube post, community post earlier, kind of leave it open for you guys. We haven't had a Sundays at 7, partially because
ill-timed,
right?
ER visits.
ER visits and things like that. So if you guys for the next it's just 7 o'clock, and I didn't see did I see a bacon go out? 7 o'clock
yeah,
bacon?
They hit bacon and sushi.
Oh, it's 7:09, so I got behind there. Okay.
Yeah.
Dances with Possums. That's a pretty good
the
one.
white boy remake.
Yeah. So yeah, if you guys got questions, topics of discussion, if you need a Troy's tirade, feel free to spur one along if necessary. If not, we'll leave you fine folks be. But anyway, things we had a great time at church camp, and everything went really well there. Some great kids. We were taking on a trip that we normally do, but we don't normally do it where we did it. So we had a lot of unknowns going into it. But everything went really well, and we had a great group of kids. Staff, fantastic. So that went really well, and my health held up pretty good through that. So I was really kind of surprised that because I ate like a madman that week.
Yeah, it sounds like y'all had good food that week.
We did. We had some tremendous food. It kind of helps when you take a certified trained chef along on an outdoor backpacking type adventure. It really helps when you do that. Troy, I had a miss. I saw
Him
that.
and Chris making
Chris
the
Schaefer.
hammer.
Yep. And I've loved seeing Chris work on his lathe. That whole restoration of his lathe.
Yeah.
Chris is really, he's really researched that really, really well. I mean, he knows the parts in and out. Just that's really, really cool. You had Shane in there too.
Grief.
Wow, man, the Goody Moot Forge is the place to be, man. It's a popular destination. Maybe, just maybe one day.
One day, we'll be blessed with the opportunity to go visit.
You know, it does require an invitation.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I'll just start there. It does require an invitation.
Ooh, jeez.
The belief on the Euphrates drying up, prophecy or nature.
That's
hardcore, man. Yeah. That's just jumping right in.
I've been hanging out with Bill Wheel.
Yeah, yeah. Double O negative. Get with Bill Wheel on that. I'm going to say the same as Bill just kind of said, but I will lean more towards nature. What I will say is this. Of all the rivers in all the world, none of them have been eternal. I'll just say it that way. And what I mean by that is wax and moon. Hello, that's not what I'm saying. It's a new one we haven't seen before. Good to see you. Welcome in, and we jump right in. Okay, so I'll start with this. None of the rivers on the earth are eternal. And what I mean by that is even in the beginning, when it says that the Garden of Eden was somewhere between the Tigris and the Euphrates, we know quite possibly that those weren't original bodies of water and maybe not exactly where they were. One of the fun things I love about when you fly is if you fly over an area, or you don't even have to fly, you can look in a valley where there's like mountains and stuff like that, and you can see. Got a Troy tirade, nice. You can see how the rivers and creeks eat their way through a valley.
Right.
And how long that takes, we don't know. I mean, we've seen canyons created overnight by streams that then turn into rivers. If you put enough water through there in a high enough volume, or a short enough time span. So what I mean by that is, there are glacial rivers, say up in the Arctic Circle and places just below that. There are glacial rivers there, and near some mountains that didn't exist. Who knows? 3,000, 2,000, 1,000, 100 years ago, if they didn't exist. So my thought on the Euphrates, if indeed it is quote unquote drying up, then it is by nature. Now, is it by nature as a result? Now, don't get me started on the whole global warming and all that kind of stuff. That all aside, is it happening just because human beings are bleeding it dry? Is it happening because of some prophecy? Well, why not both, right? So, if God knows that at some point in time the Euphrates is going to dry up, it's not necessarily. I'm not of the opinion that God is on everyday basis going, okay, today's the day the Euphrates dries up, and I'll put my hand down and take care of it. Is that God is watching nature occur and knows is omniscient.
Yeah.
I know about time.
Yeah.
And so we're looking at it again. We look at life from the street view of the parade. And God looks at it from the balloon and above. He can see the whole parade. And we have this idea that things occur right here and right now, and that has to be the result of something that was spoken about 4,000 years ago or 3,000 years ago or whatever. And that may not even be remotely the case. So for me to say, okay, that's the reason why that's happening, is only conjecture on my part. And can it be fulfilling a prophecy? And when I say prophecy, we have to understand what the word prophecy has in its meaning to begin with. Prophecy is not about. We have the idea that prophecy is forthtelling. That prophecy is always about something happening in the future. The difference is prophecy in its original full meaning has much more to do with telling forth. In other words, I have a piece of wisdom and I'm going to tell it to you. The prophets were not always fortune tellers. In fact, there were some that never told anything about the future, but they were considered prophets because they were men who were offering up wisdom and telling forth that wisdom. And so I'm very hesitant when we start talking about prophecies, about making it all about something that's happening in the future. That's the first thing we have to understand is just because something was written about, some occurrence coming, doesn't mean it. You can probably make that historical correlation to something in that era as a general basis. Rob says that must be a non-profit business. That's a good one. Okay, so I went on forever on that. My response is, sure. Is it prophecy or is it nature? Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. The good thing about it is I don't know.
Yeah.
And I can be wise enough to tell you I don't know. So, what other things just got brought up?
A lot.
Yeah, like what?
Well, Roy said, as a Christian, something along the lines. Hang on, let me pull it back up. Something. As a Christian, do you believe in luck?
Do I believe in luck?
Luck.
Well, I have to know what the alternative is. Is there an alternative to luck? What would be the other end of luck? Would it be predestination?
Right.
Is this thing predestined to happen? Was I lucky that this happened? Was it God? See, that's where we get into, okay, was this God's will?
Right.
That I think is a much more viable question is there such thing as luck? No. Is there such thing as happenstance? Like, you put the dice in your hand, toss it down. Yeah. Well, it's good luck that I got that roll. I got 7, whatever. Or was it good luck or was it happenstance? It just happened. And I think oftentimes things just happen. It's not a matter of good luck or bad luck. Luck is not something that we operate with as Christians, that things are good luck or bad luck. That's more along the line of superstition. And it just doesn't pay to be superstitious, whether you believe in Jesus or not. It doesn't pay to be superstitious because you're going to get disappointed.
Yeah.
At some point in time. So I don't take a luck approach to anything. Now I'll say, well, I just ran into some bad luck. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't mean that superstitiously I should have, rubbed a cat.
Our perception play a part in this.
What's that?
Our perception plays a part in this.
Correct.
Obviously, God being omniscient knows all, but us being mortal beings.
And again, I think
we have the hope of Jesus as far as that thing goes.
Yeah.
Is it luck that you came across a $20 bill today and you needed $20 to put gas in your tank?
Right. Is that good luck?
Right.
And I am also not a proponent of it's a God thing. Mm. I've heard that phrase thrown out way too easily, like everything that happened good was a God thing.
Right.
I never hear people say when something happens bad, well, that was a God thing.
That's fair.
Well, so-and-so broke their leg and, bled out or something like that. Well, it was a God thing.
It's in God's hands.
Why would you, why would you only say that God's only involved in good things?
Yeah.
In making good things happen for me.
Right.
And don't dare use the plans to prosper you thing, because that's not in context.
Read the front and back of that.
Yeah, that is not in context at all. Well, we got into some good stuff right off the bat.
Televangelism right
This
here.
is like Sundays at 7.
Knock the televangelism into it.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah,
Kenny said he had a wild question if you would humor him.
okay. Did he say what it was?
No, he said only if you would humor him.
Yeah, I'll humor it, sure. And Roy says good answers. It's definitely a circular argument. Yeah, I agree. It's
definitely.
You can get into just, okay, well, it's this thing. Well, if it's this thing, then it's this thing, and if that's thing, okay, you can say this and make it fit. I'm not a fan of making things fit into that whole, well, this is a God thing, or this was luck, or this was God's will that this happened, but not God's will that this didn't happen. You know, hey, my job is not to figure that out anyway. My job is to be a servant of God and bring people to a closer relationship with Him. That's our job. I'm not figuring out of things. I don't have a problem talking about it. Like, okay, this is my thoughts on it, but I don't spend my days pondering it. There's too much to be done on the other side of things. But that's just me. I'm not opposed to other people being philosophical and theological in their thought processes. Have at it. We need people like that. So, all right, what was Kenny's question?
He hadn't got there yet.
He hadn't done it yet. We'll figure those particulars out after we die. As Paul writes, as we are known, then we will fully know.
Yeah.
There will come a time when all of that gets answered in a heartbeat. And I hear people, and I get it. It's kind of a colloquialism kind of thing. When I get to heaven, I've got all these questions I want to ask God. No, you don't. No, you don't. When you get to heaven, your questions will be answered in a blink.
Yeah.
It'll all be known to you. Hey, there's Scott from Rambling with the Brooms. Scott, I hope things are calming down up there, buddy, with all the wildfires and all that kind of stuff, man. That's been we've actually been affected here in Ohio by it. I can't even imagine. You've been within sight and vision of those fires up there, man. That's just crazy. I hope things are definitely getting better.
This is completely off topic, but I saw it posted it the other day. It was a vape pen. It was this girl blowing her vape out, and it was another person just like, Canada, Ohio.
Yeah, I get it.
It was wild for a couple of days there. Cincinnati was orange. If you looked at follow EarthCam, which is hilariously fun if you ever want to kill 20 minutes of time and just look around the world. But Cincinnati skyline was literally just like mandarin orange, just all the way across, hazy and orange. It looked like the beginning of a 1980s film.
Keith's got a good question.
Oh,
Awesome Sausage says, you believe we will know all in heaven? Like have full, complete knowledge of everything? Yes and no. What I mean by that is all that we need to know, we will know. Because to know all would be to be omniscient.
Right.
That's not what we're designed for.
Right.
We're not designed to be omniscient. And the reason why I say that is, as the scripture tells, Paul writes, he says, as we are known, then we will fully know. And what I understand that to be, and as the language says, is the word know, the knowledge, nasta, is rarely used in the New Testament. And obviously that word's not used in the Old Testament. But the whole intellectual knowledge is rarely used in the Bible. When the word know is used, as we translated it, it is almost always used in the format of an intimate relationship. Like there are probably people in your life say, I know that person really well. Well, that doesn't mean that you have a wisdom or an intellect about that person. That means you have an intimate relationship with that person. So to say I really know that person really has something to do with your intimacy with each other. The term actually used there speaks much more. It's almost the same exact word as the marriage bed. That sort of intimacy. So when God says, or when Paul writes, what God says is we will know just as we will fully know just as we are known. Is we will have that intimate relationship the way God has an intimate relationship with us. He will have intimacy with us, and we will have intimacy with Him. So the whole idea that it's all about intellect, is not, again, not necessary,
Right.
Because what we will need to know intellectually will be immediate, and the rest of our eternity will be intimate relationship with God because of our proximity to Him. So I think Kenny says, I don't have a question. I heard an interview. The next generation is very lost. Blind leading the blind is a very large threat to our faith.
AI
I don't want to.
is a very large threat to our faith.
What's that?
He said
AI.
AI
Okay,
is a very
AI
large.
is a very large threat to our faith.
I don't
and then
think
about the false teachers as well. Go ahead.
I'll cut in on the AI part because our current AI system is not of the movies. It is not a
Right.
ever-growing, ever-changing, ever-learning AI.
Evolving.
It is an algorithm designed by humans.
Right.
AI is designed to know all that we know and then basically put that in with answers. If you look at the algorithms that ChatGPT, for example, uses, and they've fully admitted this when they say it, if ChatGPT cannot figure out an answer, it basically makes up an answer.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't use knowledge to then design an answer. It says, oh, well, a skunk is black and white, and you ask it, okay, how many skunks have there ever been black and white? Most skunks have been black and white. It comes up with the answer knowing what it knows, but it can't evolve itself into a self-sustaining being.
It literally is limited by the human interaction with the algorithm.
Yeah, I don't think we're close enough to, iRobot.
Right.
It's like, oh, the human race is
But the next generation, I think we're about to find something. I'm a firm believer, and I'm an optimist. I'm a firm believer in things are cyclical. Is that sometimes things have to get really bad. If you look at biblical history, you find out things got really, really bad before they got better.
Yeah.
And there was always a remnant. If you look at Old Testament history, there was always a remnant. There was always a piece that was original to the original material. And they were the ones who always came back to Jerusalem and restored the temple, restored, things back to where they were. And the unfortunate part is not everybody came back. And I think there will be a point in time, I don't know when that'll be, there will be a point in time where there will be a movement back toward God. And I think part of the reason for that is, and I follow, who was the boy king, Josiah? His family heritage ahead of him was horrible. They were godless, heathen, pagan individuals and completely lost. And a great revival happened in Israel as a result of this young boy who just said, all we got to do is get back to God. We got to get back to God's word, and we got to get back to God's practices. And this huge revival happened from a 9-year-old boy. So don't pass away. Don't push away the young generation and think that they're lost. And if they're lost, it's our fault. It really is. It's our fault if the current generation is lost. It's our fault.
And I think too, playing off of that is.
Sorry, Wayne Height says since I'm cyborg, I'm conflicted. Understood, buddy. Understood.
But I think too, something interesting is humans have the innate nature to rebel against. I mean, it's literally from the Garden of Eden. We've rebelled against God, and you rebel against your parents. You even not to put myself an example, but even as much as I've I say was a good child, so to speak, growing up and everything. There were still times that I, rebelled against what your wishes were or whatever.
Yeah.
It's human nature to rebel, against the parents, against your leadership, and against things. And the culture of today is very much, anti-religion, anti-God. You yourself are your own God. That kind of feeling almost.
Yeah.
And that's literally preached in some pulpits at this point. The counterculture is becoming counterculture to the current culture.
Yeah.
So the counterculture of today's culture is now the more conservative leaning, and I'm saying that politically, but more kind of earthly values. The more kids are interested in church and religion and that thing. So that you're seeing the downhill swing, but also the uphill climb.
Yeah. And Jeff, yes, the answer is yes. We have this idea that we have to be the culture, or else the culture is doomed.
Right.
And what we have to understand is Elijah.
What?
Not that Elijah. Elijah, the prophet Elijah. When he came against the prophets of Baal, hundreds of them. When he came against the prophets of Baal, he was the only one left.
Yeah.
Many times, like the prophets and some of the judges, they were the only ones. Noah was the only one. So, to think things are doomed, you're underselling God and you're underestimating God. If God can make things out of the remnant of Israel and turn things great, if He can, remake the whole world basically as a result of Noah and his family being righteous and obedient. If Elijah can stand on top of a mountain and call down God's fire against 600 others and more, when he was the only one standing there, God can do a whole lot more than we think or ever dream. And look at our stupid blessed verse, more than we could possibly imagine, more than we can think, more than we can even come up with. God can do much more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think Double O asked about the false teachers.
Yeah.
To me, the false teachers are scarier, and I hate to use that term, but are more of a threat to our life, our Christian life. They are more of a threat to that than blatant evil. When he talks about in Revelation, where he says, "You were neither hot nor cold, but you were lukewarm. Therefore, I will spew you out of my mouth." And I think that's really what he's talking to. To me, that's evil, being there in that lukewarm. That I don't think he's talking about lukewarm Christians who were kind of Christians. I think he's talking about those that are that in between, where it's not so blatant evil.
Yeah.
Like something that's too hot, you put it in your mouth. That's too hot, or something that is cold. Whatever. I think that has to do with something that's like, it's palatable.
Yeah.
So I think those are more of a threat than flat out evil. I mean, let's just say it out loud. If we look at something where somebody is messing with kids, you can look at that and go, that's evil. Okay? If somebody is messing with a little kid, that's evil. And to the other side of things, it's those things where you go, is it? Is this thing evil?
Right.
And that's where the false teachers live. They live in that zone. I think she mentioned, or they mentioned Koresh. David Koresh was so appealing that hundreds of people were saying, "Oh, okay, that's right. That's the right thing."
Yeah.
And thank you, buddy. He says, "Welcome back." Sounds of Freedom. That's going to be a good movie. So
yeah,
I think we look at that. That's a case for like sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And that's evil. We can just look at that and say that is evil. That is a terrible thing.
Right.
And then we look at the ways in which people are deceiving people with the word.
Yeah.
Is identical to what Satan was doing. And he was trying to do it to Jesus in the wilderness. He was trying to do it to Jesus.
Yeah.
The word. Satan was using the word against the word.
Right.
Who wrote the word.
Yeah.
Okay? So don't think that he won't use man to use the word against everybody else. If he's willing to use it against the word, if he's willing to use it against Jesus, he's willing to use other people to use it against you and against an entire culture, an entire world.
Side note, if you haven't seen it, there's a movie that recently came out called Nefarious. It's basically an on trial of a guy who says he's demon-possessed, and I won't spoil it for you, but it's a really interesting take because he's talking from the perspective of a demon and basically saying, like, you know, we are intentionally bad. We're going against what, you know, the Creator, God, in his depiction of God, said, you all are doing it effortlessly at this point. You know, it's almost like we don't even have to do our jobs. You guys are doing it so well. Again, I won't spoil the whole thing, but definitely give it a chance, or give it a watch whenever you get a chance.
Yeah.
Like you said, with like using the word against.
Oh, yeah.
And so easily manipulating.
Yeah.
And that's, you get into the whole, like, you know, the people who rely specifically on the spiritual milk instead of actually diving into the word, you know, and who don't have a solid rooted faith are so easily taken up.
Yeah. Well, what was the first sin precursored by? Satan says, did he really say you were going to die?
Right.
You know, he was even taking God's word and going, just a little
Tiny
twist.
Little twist on
Are
it.
you sure that's what he meant? You sure that's what he was saying? Yeah, you're right on. Double O negative, you were right in there. Right in the pocket. And the last, think about the most horrible thing you could possibly hear. Think about the most absolutely horrible thing you could possibly hear. It's not my child is dead. It's not the world is coming to an end. It's none of those things. It is depart. I'll even use King James in this.
Oh, yeah.
Depart from me, ye workers of iniquity.
Yeah.
I never knew you.
I think that last part is
the last part is the hardest part.
Yeah.
The last part is the hardest part. He says, you workers of iniquity, which is immoral, a behavior.
Right.
You workers of ill behavior.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not the worst part. The worst part is, I never knew you. I never had that intimate relationship with you. It's not I never had a knowledge of you, because God's not going to say that.
Yeah.
God's always had a knowledge of you. I never knew you. We didn't have a relationship. That's the worst thing you could possibly ever hear, is God say, go away. We don't have a relationship. That's the worst.
All the way back around to the knowledge of...
There you go. See, the difference was what was happening in the New Testament when Paul was writing to all those people, and that's why he writes it in Corinthians, and he says they were fighting with Gnosticism, because they were in a town where the Greek mythology and the Greek study was the big deal, and he says it to the Athenians as well, is they were all about here. What's the logic? What's the reason? What's all of these things? And he says the Gnosticism is going to cause you a problem. This whole knowledge business is going to cause you a problem because you don't know and have an intimate relationship with God. You know, you can gain. Was it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Was it profit a man to have all knowledge and all wisdom? He adds that in there. Everybody always talks about it was a profit of man to gain the whole world.
Right.
But he also says, what's the profit of man to have all the wisdom and the knowledge and not have an intimate relationship with God?
Yeah.
That's a big difference. It's a big difference. So don't get wrapped up in the Gnosticism, in the wisdom, in the not just the wisdom, but the intellectual gain of it all. Because you can't. You can't. Let your striving, let your push be towards having a closer relationship with God, because the question is, at the end, do you know Him? Do you have an intimate relationship with Him, or do you not? And if you don't, He says, depart. Depart. Yeah, it's exactly it. It's you won't surely die. You know, that's definitely the case. When asked before, we will know everything when we die and go to heaven. And what about 1 Corinthians where it says that we don't know much right now? Well, we've been talking about that, and it says we will know as we are fully known. And that is not, again, it's not an intellectual wisdom it is as a relationship. See, God already has an intimate relationship, an intimate knowledge of us. We're striving as Christians. We strive to reciprocate that, to have that same relationship with Him, that same knowledge of Him. So the question is not, do we have an intellect about God? It says if you can fathom. Well, how does it say? If you can shoot, I'll think of it. Basically, it says if you can figure all the mysteries of the world out, but have not love. If you can figure all those
I think
intellectual
Double
things.
just pointed that.
What's that?
Nothing but a tingling brass or a banging gong.
Yeah, that's useless. You can figure that all out. Hydraulic pump. Rob says, waters are too deep here. Hydraulic pump.
No, he was answering. Peace
Right.
Asked why you were put in the hospital.
Oh, okay. My hydraulic.
He said your hydraulic pump.
That's good. I like that, Rob. Well done, buddy. Have not charity, have not love. There you go. Yeah, they're similar in translation. Don't get wrapped up in that either, okay? That's kind of a hot button.
Unless you speak Aramaic and Hebrew.
Right. Don't get wrapped up in that, guys. And that's kind of a hot button with me too on translations and things like that. It's don't get wrapped up with each other on that. Don't get tied up over, well, mine says this and mine says that. It's to begin with, it's not yours.
Ooh.
It's not yours.
That'll preach.
Yeah. It's offered up to you to use in order to grow closer to God, but it's not yours. But yes, don't get wrapped up in that, and don't see. That's another thing. I think Satan uses that to get us at each other. See, Satan works against Christians, not non-Christians. He's only going to fight the battle of those that are opposed to him. If you're not opposed to him, if you're not fighting him, he's not going to mess with you. He's not going to spend any time with you. What's the point?
Right.
What's the point fighting you? You're not doing anything against me. You're no enemy. And we have to be enemies of evil. Romans 16:19. Be excellent at what is good. Be innocent of evil. And the God of peace will crush Satan. Now, none of those things sound logical. Be excellent at what is good, be innocent of evil, and the God of peace will crush Satan. That doesn't usually match up. More like we will know and understand everything that pertains to just us and what we went through, the way, I think it means, and not we will be as smart in knowledge. Yeah, it's not intellectual.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, Corey. It's not about our intellect. Because the fact of the matter is we won't need intellect in heaven.
Yeah.
It's going to be an eternal praise session for all eternity. And the beauty of all this, guys, is we sit at the right hand of God with Jesus. Romans 8:16 and 17 says that we are not just heirs.
Right.
It's not only just we inherit heaven, but we are co-heirs with Christ. Christ sits at the right hand of God, and we are co-heirs. We sit at the right hand of God with Jesus for all eternity. The 12 elders, the angels, all the beasts, all those other things, they don't do that. They're in the choir loft.
Yeah.
They're sitting off to the side singing the praises. We're sitting at the right hand of God with Jesus. That's an amazing thing to me. That we're not just heirs with Christ, but co-heirs with Christ. It's such an amazing thought. And knowing in full stability, I would not argue over correct. Very good.
And that's something I'll touch on real quick just to hype you up for fun. During Dad's sermons is definitely a full props to him that he will pull from different translations and explain, from the NLT, this is how it is said, and I will add on to it from the NIV version because it places this word in there that maybe the NLT translation did not get. He's very good at breaking that down. Again, for those of us who are not dedicated into, Bible college and studying the Word. I mean, all of us have the opportunity to study the Word just as much as the rest of us, but having a degree in, Bible and everything of that nature, but being able to dissect that and say, okay, this way it says it this way to add on to improve on our knowledge, our limited knowledge. This says it this way, and it helps click both ways, anything from KJV to the Message.
Right. Yeah. And again, not to get into those weeds, is, when it comes to those translation things, and double O negative, awesome. I will not argue over translation.
Agreed.
Perfect. That is a fantastic way to look at things. Here's the beauty of this. My dad, who was a biblical scholar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the easiest way to say it. He was a biblical scholar. He was always in the Word. He wore the same Bible out 3 times.
Yeah.
He received the Bible at his baptism, and it had to be rebound 3 times. And one of the times is really interesting because the people who rebound it misunderstood, and they actually cleaned and straightened all the pages. So every one of his notations and bookmarks and everything gone.
Oh.
And at first he was like devastated by all that, and he thought, it's an opportunity. I can do this all again. I get an opportunity to roll this over again. So yeah, it's really, really cool that's the case. But he was a King James, all right? And when I graduated high school, I received an NIV study Bible and loved it. Fantastic. It read well for me, and I understood through training in Bible college that there were where the translations came from and all that kind of fun stuff. And we won't get into the liturgical history of everything from and the church history from 33 to to today. We won't get into all that because that's a whole other thing. But just understanding that each one of these is a translation as best we can do. And so to say, and Bill's right, no single translation is 100% accurate. We're looking at different versions and different translations and different looks. No human being, think about this, no human being today speaks on a regular basis Koine Greek.
That's fair.
They just don't. Even the Greeks don't speak Koine Greek. Even people in Greece right now don't speak Koine Greek. And so, no normal human being today speaks the same English as Shakespeare.
Right.
Even people in England don't do that. Even Shakespeareans have to learn it.
Yeah, we don't speak thee and thous anymore.
We just and there's words even beyond that. Read something like Beowulf. It's in its original. Nobody speaks like that.
Right.
So to move that into today is a challenge. It's a huge challenge. So I love the fact that you guys, even though you may use different translations, say, I'm not fighting over it. That's not going to be a point of contention. My dad and I talked a great deal about it, but we just understood this is the one you're using, this is the one I'm using, we're good, we're fine. And the fact that there are occasions where these words are great over here and these words over here don't quite make the point. They don't get me to where I want to be. So fantastic. When I do a full study on something, I may have 5 translations sitting out in front of me. The Bible app has hundreds of translations on it.
Side-by-side comparison.
Yeah, I love it too because you can do the parallels. And I actually, on occasion, on my computer at the church, because I have 2 screens, I will have 2 screens, or this screen over here split with 2 translations, the sermon I'm working on, and then I'll have 3 Bibles in front of me, or my phone and tablet, which is split translation. So I may have 5 to 6 versions open at the same time. And really, the reason I love doing that is because I'm able to look at all of them and say, okay, these 4 here convey the same exact message of what I was thinking was going on here. And these 2 over here either are confusing or they bring out something completely different. And it may actually confirm or go, okay, it's a different way to look at that. And I love that. I love being able to look at all the different ones. And he says, I have King James, Holman's, NIV, NLT, love them all. Right now, I strongly encourage people to look at the NLT because it is a translation, and it is a translation taken from most recent translations and learning from those translations and making it very readable, yet a translation, not a paraphrase. I am less inclined to have people study and learn from paraphrases, say like The Message or The Good News. I'm less inclined to encourage people to study from those. Read it so you can get the idea.
Easy reading.
Easy reading.
Right. But
study, no. I'm more inclined to send people towards things like the NIV or the NLT. Right now, the NLT, because it's readable. It's readable and it's a good translation, as a general rule. If you get me talking about the apocryphal stuff, I actually have an apocryphal Old Testament in the back seat of my truck right now.
I have have that in the Catholic Bible in the back of mine.
Yeah. So, are they, as we will use the term, canon? Based on what?
Yeah.
The problem I do have, there are some in the Apocrypha that are much harder to make fit.
Yeah.
I'll just say it that way. There's some great writings in the Apocrypha. I'll even say the same thing about the Talmud. If you guys know about intertestamental history and other writings outside of Old Testament and New Testament, there's a period of intertestamental period with the Maccabees where there was some great writings during that time. The Talmudic writings, very great to learn from. Now, do I take them as Christian gospel? Not necessarily, but they're great writings. And there are some great contemporary writers. Are all those things canon? Whatever you want to call canon.
They happened.
They happened. They were written. So I don't get too wound up over the whole canonization thing. And part of the reason is because do I believe God had a hand in it? Sure. I believe God definitely had a hand in what was considered canon. But I'm less inclined to think that that man didn't screw some of that up.
Yeah.
I'm pretty convinced that probably happened. If we get involved, it's probably going to be messed up in some form or fashion.
Right.
I know all the books. I don't know them intimately, as well as I might know the current version of the Christian Bible. But the first and second Esdras and Sirach and Enoch and all the other ones, Jubilees, all those kinds of fun stuff. I know of them and I've read through them. And Kenny, you're going to hit it. You're going to hit kind of like on the end of what we were talking about earlier. What about future writings that influencers of the world are predicting? Here's two things I'm going to say about that. So if we look back at the Old Testament and we see prophecies or foretellings, there are messianic prophecies that tell about the coming Messiah, about Jesus, and Jesus comes. We say, okay, by His stripes we are healed. We can see those things that happen, and they are pretty blatant about being messianic prophecies, and the Messiah comes, and there you go. The last book of the Bible is what we would call a prophecy,
right.
A foretelling. Okay. Again, be careful about saying prophecy and saying that's all about fortune telling. Okay, telling the future. But as we understand it, the book of Revelation is a prophecy. Okay. For people to say the book of Revelation says this, this, and this, and this, and this, and that thing is happening right now. Therefore, the book of Revelation is foretelling this thing that's happening right now. I'm really, really hesitant to buy into that.
Right.
Because thousands and thousands and thousands of people have said that from 90 AD until now.
Yeah.
I'm really hesitant. Here's the other side of this. If you find somebody who comes out and says, the world is going to end, Jesus is coming back October 23rd, 2026. Okay, schedule a party October 23rd, 2026. Because that is not when Jesus is coming back. That is not when Jesus is coming back. Because Jesus says, as he is leaving, he says, I don't know the time and the place.
Right.
I don't know when that's happened. And that to me is a fair warning to say, so don't try to figure it out. Why would you try to figure it out? And I'll say this way. Who cares? If we're doing what God has called us to do, who cares what the day and time is? I'm ready.
Yeah. Looky there.
Oh, there it is. There it comes.
Yeah.
Out of the east.
Yeah.
You know? It's going to happen. Now, my view on Revelation is much more along the line of I can easily take the figurative approach to Revelation.
Yeah.
And I can also easily take the literal of it as well. I'm imagining John, and don't get me wrong here. Let's imagine John all of a sudden sees an Apache helicopter.
Yeah.
Now, John had never seen an Apache helicopter before. If you ask somebody 120 years ago what an Apache helicopter looks like, and then they see one go by, how are they going to describe it?
Sorry, side note, this is literally slightly spoiler alerts for the new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh, yeah. So how are they going to describe it?
Yeah.
They're going to describe it as best they can.
Yeah.
And do I think that that's a possibility in John's recollection of his vision?
Yeah.
I think it's a possibility.
Yeah.
Am I going to say, yep, John is picturing an Apache helicopter when he says there's a beast with 9 eyes and 9 wings and whatever.
Right.
And he starts describing this thing.
It breathes fire, it gives birth to the dragon in the sky. And
Right. Okay. Am I going to say that's what he's talking about? No. Am I going to say that's not what he's talking about? No. So, to me, again, I had a college professor, and we were doing devotion, a deep devotional group, discipleship group, and he said, "What do you guys want to study?" And so some of us were like, "Revelation."
Yeah.
We want to study Revelation. He's like, "Good enough, but I can tell you right now, you already know everything I know about Revelation, because it's the last book of the Bible, and it's a foretelling. And who knows how much of that has already come true and about to come true and may have already happened or is happening now. Who knows? I mean, again, Jesus said, I don't even know when all this stuff has happened.
Right.
And when it happens, it's just going to happen. It's going to happen like that. So, okay. I don't spend my time on it.
Right.
There are other commands in the New Testament, in the Old Testament, and New Testament from Jesus and from Paul and Peter and all of them. These are the things you're supposed to be doing. And not once to say, hey, make sure you spend a lot of time studying.
Trying to interpret.
Trying to figure out when the end is going to be.
Right.
No, the more of it is make sure you're ready when it comes.
Bring other people.
And bring as many as you can with you. So that's my approach to it. I don't get wrapped up. And if people are, this is one thing I can easily dismiss. Easily. Not dismiss the people, but dismiss what they're saying who talk about this thing happening, and that means it's the end. And this thing happening, and that means it's the end. I can just assure you, that's not true.
Right.
I can 100% assure you what you're saying is not going to be true because. Just because. Right? Revelation is a cool fireworks display. Yeah, so just, relax on that stuff. Just be cool. And I'm ready. I'm taking everybody. Talking about everyone else. Oh, there you go. Yeah. So our job is to get everyone else on the same path, to say the same thing. I'm ready. That's our job, is to get everybody else to the point where they say, I'm ready. Even so quickly, come.
Yeah.
Lord, come.
Yes, sir.
This is good stuff.
It is.
By the way, this is a Sundays at 7.
Sundays at 7.
This right here, what we are doing is a Sundays at 7. So if you guys are interested in more of this, Sundays at 7 is the thing.
Come back for the next time we do a Sundays at 7.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility, double or negative, for sure, depending on how you read it and how it actually does happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, oh man, great stuff. Yeah, just read it and take it. Here's what I say, guys, about anything you read in the Bible. Take God at His word.
Yeah.
You know, if He says, don't do this thing, don't do that thing. If He says, this is the thing you're supposed to be doing, do that thing. And if it says this thing is going to happen, then that thing's probably going to happen because He's got a pretty good track record of when He says something's going to happen, it happens.
Yeah.
All I know is one day I get to go home. Good enough.
See you there.
Ready to go home. Good enough. That's what we need to know.
Yep.
All that other stuff is superfluous. How about that? How about that? Superfluous. We might as well end on that because I can't get any better.
Superfluous.
I can't do any better than that one.
I could go for
Oh
some
my
supper,
goodness,
supper
guys! What?
I could go for some superfluous.
Yeah, supper for us. Supper for us. Guys, we're gonna head out. Man, oh man, we just have so much fun hanging out with you guys. Again, we apologize for a non-forging stream, but I think most of you understand as to why, and we are going to get back. Just we ask. I do covet your prayers that I can get fully restored back to the same stupid dummy I was before, so I can get back up here doing the thing, and because that's what I love to do on the side, and it is on the side. The thing I love to do most is what we've done tonight. So Sundays at 7.
Supper at 7.
Supper at 7. Supper at 8. Come hang out with us, guys. What an absolute blessing it is to hang out with you. Look at this. Watch this. Oh, big high, Dad knee.
Don't hurt your spleen.
Yeah.
No more body parts being hurt.
Yep. So anyway, God bless you guys. Eli, is there anything you need to tell them? Any of the
waiting for you.
The commercial stuff?
You're
gonna wait for me to end and you don't end it with commercial stuff?
Well, I just at some point whenever you let me talk.
Is that the plan?
I don't know. Whenever you say you're done, I'll do my little thing.
Okay. All right.
Kick us out.
Man, you guys are awesome. What a blessing it is to hang out with y'all and spending time. So next week, forging with Eli. You never know, guys. God can do amazing things. There's no question about it. We are so blessed. We're so blessed to have this opportunity to come with you guys. There are occasions where we go, okay, we're going to do it tonight, and I've never regretted going ahead and doing the stream. I've never regretted it. So I don't regret tonight. I'm glad Eli made the call that he made. Thank you guys so much. Is this Sunday a Sundays at 7?
We'll post when it's a Sundays at 7. Follow us on Instagram and the community page on YouTube.
That's a segue.
Well, you're not done talking, so
I'm done.
No, you're not.
That's a beautiful segue.
But yeah, community page on YouTube. We try to post whenever if we're missing a stream or when the Sundays at 7 is up. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Rumble. Be sure to follow us there as well. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you're alerted in case we do post that community post, and you're updated for when the next type of content is coming here. Also, check out the website, www.barrunforge.com. That's BARRUNFORGE.com. Bye.
Bye, guys. God bless.